Hey, Pretty Girl Club. I wanted to make a quick video about the whole "you're conceited" talking point. For reference, this video is inspired by the Exotic Brown Skin, so make sure you guys go and follow her channel. She's really blowing up here in these YouTube streets. But I've noticed that people, they say this on my channel too, and they say like, oh, you're being conceited, or you act conceited, or you have a superiority complex, or you think you're better. But then have you ever noticed that when you ask these women, okay, what did I do that was conceited? They literally have no answer. Like when you ask them, what did I do or say to show that I have a superiority complex? Did I ever say, hey, I'm just so much better than you? Did I say something that sounded superior or conceited? And usually these people can't give an answer. And I've noticed that basically if you're pretty, that's conceited. If you carry yourself with confidence, you're conceited. If you're outspoken, you're conceited. If you're assertive, you're conceited. If you are gaining success very quickly, you're conceited. If you stand up for what you believe in, you're conceited and arrogant. So at this point, this channel supports dark femininity. So I'm going to, from here on out, I am going to embrace that negative quality that people want to associate with us exoticals. Because if I had to think about our collective image, I'd rather have my negative quality be that I'm conceited versus being humble. Because if you look up the definition of the word humble, it literally means having a low opinion of yourself, and conceit means that you have a high opinion of yourself, or sometimes it means that you have like an inflated opinion of yourself. But have you ever noticed that if a man has an inflated ego, if a man is cocky and braggadocious, that's considered sexy, right? Even if you think about Hollywood rappers and stuff, they always brag about their music. Even pop stars and R&B stars, they brag about how talented they are. They brag about how good their sex is and stuff. And so being conceited, although it could be seen as a negative quality, conceit is still something that you can use to your advantage. So if you guys want to call us conceited, by all means, you can continue to do so. I don't even see that as an insult because everybody has flaws. So if you guys want to associate us with being conceited, by all means, go ahead, because I'd rather be known as being a conceited girl than being somebody who has an inferiority complex, or somebody who's insecure, or somebody who thinks I ain't shit. And also, people worship those who are conceited. You guys worship women like Beyonce who make songs that say bow down bitches. You guys worship people who have these braggadocious lyrics talking about how they're the greatest rappers of all time, or how they're the baddest bitch. Those are conceited types of comments, right? Couldn't you argue that they're technically being conceited? So a lot of people, they like to do this little fake virtue signaling thing where it's like, oh no, I'm just the most humble person in the world. Like I'm such a great person, and you're a horrible person because you're so conceited. Those same people are listening to conceited music lyrics. They're attracted to men who have like kind of these cocky personalities, or they have these conceited talking points. And then suddenly, if you create a random YouTube channel and you talk about being bullied for being pretty, or you talk about pretty privilege and using it to your advantage, then suddenly you're conceited and that's bad. Nope. From here on out, I will be embracing all of my negative qualities, as well as the negative qualities that are associated with my phenotype. So honestly, I'm not mad at people thinking that exoticals are conceited. I'm not mad at people thinking that we are having an inflated sense of self, or thinking that we're vain, because that's another word that I think of. When I think of conceit, I think of vanity. And if you look up the definition of the word vanity, vanity means somebody who's like kind of obsessed with their beauty. If anything, being vain, although this is considered a negative quality, having excessive pride in my appearance or my achievements, I don't really consider that to be an insult. Like, that's not the insult you think it is. Like, yes, I am proud of my appearance and my achievements. I'm proud of the achievements of my community. I'm proud of the other girls in this pretty girl niche who are starting their own channels. So it's like, okay, if those are going to be my negative qualities, I would rather be considered vain or conceited as opposed to being the insecure, jealous, crazy person who's just living in cognitive dissonance 24/7. So if that's my flaw, I'm not mad at it. If this is considered to be our flaw in the exotical community, that's fine. I noticed that another phrase that we get called in this niche is stuck up or snobby or shallow. And it's like, once again, We live in a shallow society. We live in a society where we worship stuck-up people. You guys worship rich people. You worship all kinds of people who have very stuck-up mindsets behind closed doors, and you guys admire these people and aspire to be like them. Once again, I'm thinking of rappers and, all these famous people in the music industry who literally write lyrics about how great they are, or how they're a diva, or, this bitch better have my money. And they say these braggadocious, audacious comments. Society actually admires that. So they say with their mouth that's a bad quality, but they're really talking out of the side of their necks, because they'll say it's a bad quality, but then they have no problem if a rapper is like being braggadocious. They have no problem with the vanity of celebrities. Men have no problem sleeping with or providing for women who are obsessed with their appearance, or they are obsessed with their beauty, or they're very proud of their beauty. So these negative qualities, like I said, we're using dark femininity over here on this channel. So this is not a religious channel. This channel talks about things like dark psychology and stuff like that. So we're going to embrace that. I don't mind being associated with being stuck up or being snobby, because at least, like, when I think of a girl who is called a snob, I think of a girl who has boundaries. I think of a woman who doesn't take any shit. I think of a woman who built a pedestal for herself and she's not getting off of it. And that's exactly what this channel is about. It's not about competing with other women, because I've already built my pedestal and nobody else can get on my pedestal because it's mine, and I'm the main character. When I think of someone who's considered stuck up, I think of someone who has main character energy. And it's so funny, because have you ever noticed that you will call someone stuck up in one breath, but then you will call that person an icon in another breath? A lot of these people that you consider to be icons, Steve Jobs, Michael Jackson, Beyonce, Rihanna. I'm even thinking of movie characters like Regina George from Mean Girls, or like the girl from Clueless and stuff. All of these people have exhibited arrogance at some point. They've exhibited conceit at some point. They have exhibited maybe vanity at some point. So these flaws that people associate with our community, number one, these are normal human flaws. Everybody has flaws. So I'm not ashamed of the negative qualities about myself. I'm not ashamed of, having certain emotions or whatever. I embrace all sides of myself. And so I would rather have my negative quality be that I'm a stuck-up snob, or I'm conceited, or I think I'm cute, which that's really not a flaw in my opinion, but to some women, apparently you're supposed to think you're ugly. And it's like, no, just because you think that you're ugly does not mean that I have to think I'm ugly. Just because you think that you are not as marketable as me, or you feel like you have inferior marketability, just because you feel like your skin tone holds you back or your phenotype holds you back, that doesn't mean I have to take on that same mindset. It's my life. This is my mindset that I get to take on. I get to determine what type of psychology I want to have. I get to determine what stereotypes I want to associate myself with, even if it's a negative stereotype. I'd rather be the Stacey Dash who has like kind of this rich girl energy, or this snobby bougie energy. I'd rather be that than be seen as somebody who is like the scum of society, or be seen as somebody who views themselves as inferior. I don't want to be seen as somebody who views myself as inferior. I don't want people to associate me with being a victim, because a victim, think about a victim. Like, let's look up the definition of the word victim. A victim is a person who is tricked or duped. So I don't want to be associated with the girl who gets tricked, or the girl who gets duped all the time, the girl who always gets screwed over, the girl who's always at the bottom, the invisible one. I don't want to be associated with that. So if me not wanting to be a victim makes me somehow conceited, then so be it. If me representing myself makes me conceited, so be it. If me speaking up for what I believe in makes me stuck up or conceited, so be it. I think that a lot of people are just mad because they thought that us Exoticals would come on YouTube with the same energy that the second wave of Black women empowerment content creators came on here with, and we're not doing it because a lot of us, we're busy building our own lives. So we don't feel the need to pull up pictures of celebrities and like show how ugly they are, or try to point out all their features or the things that make them ugly, because we understand that the focus should always be on ourselves and like the positive aspects of ourselves, rather than only focusing on the physical flaws of others or how other people are ugly and stuff. We don't have to even do that on here because that's how powerful we actually are. That's how classy we actually are. But what do you ladies think? Have you ever been called a snob? Have you ever been called stuck up by a guy because you rejected him or you wouldn't date him? And so now suddenly you're stuck up and conceited when just a second ago he was putting you on a pedestal? What do you ladies think? Let me know in the comment section and I'll talk to you next time. Stay pretty, ladies.